Hi there. In my last post and video I looked at DxO PhotoLab version 4 versus Luminar version 4. My test was an end-to-end development of a raw image. Both tools did well. Today, I am focusing on a very specific raw conversion step, sharpening. Sharpening is best done in several steps. First, the image needs sharpening during the raw conversion. Second, it should be sharpened after post-processing. Lastly, the image should be sharpened after it has been resized for its target medium, either for on-screen viewing or for printing. Getting the sharpening done correctly is essential. Too much too soon is as bad as too little too late. Traditional sharpening tools, such as the ubiquitous unsharp mask offered by most tools, is too general and is usually global, affecting the whole image. Raw converters that only offer unsharp mask sharpening do not, therefore, have much advantage over traditional photo editors, such as Photoshop or Affinity Photo. DxO PhotoLab has very sophisticated sharpening. It has sharpening profiles that match your camera and lens, and its raw sharpening targets areas where your lens is soft, typically the corners and edges. Luminar features tools for sharpening, air structure and details enhancer, as well as a regular unsharp mask tool. Let us see how they compare. The image I am using has plenty of detail in it and was taken with a Canon EF16-35 f4L lens at 35mm, f8. It's already a sharp lens, so, ironically, here I have to be careful to not overdo the sharpening. Here's the photo. Due to the brightness of the sky, the foreground is a little dark. The raw converters can brighten the foreground up a little as well. First, I open the image up in DxO PhotoLab 4. I have turned off every setting apart from its lens corrections and smart lighting, which has brightened up the image a little. If I zoom into 100% I can show you the difference that DxO has made. As you can see, the image is both brighter and sharper, but it does not look over sharp. I left the sharpening at its default settings, as these should be the optimal ones. Here is the same image in Luminar. Again, I have applied its lens correction, but this time only the distortion and chromatic aberrations are removed, as Luminar cannot automatically correct softness. I had to manually correct the vignetting, whereas DxO does that automatically. I have used its accent AI to brighten the image just a little. It is interesting to see that the image is now just a little softer. Look at the difference as I run the before and after slider across the screen. This is to do with the distortion correction and chromatic aberration removal. It has slightly degraded the image. Because DxO's out-of-the-box result is slightly better, I award a point to DxO here. But let us see what Luminar can do with its AI structure and detail enhancer tools. I'm showing here the results. It was a long and tricky process to get the sharpening to be good. With Luminar this is a manual process, whereas with DxO it is usually just a single setting. I think Luminar has produced a good result, but it took time to get there. I could, of course, save these settings as a Luminar look, or preset, so that I can use the same settings for other images taken with this lens and focal length. But DxO gives you at least as good a result with no work at all. Have a look as I switch between the pictures. You can see that both have done a good job. I will put both images on my blog andybellphotography.com tomorrow so you can compare the results. I will now save them both as full resolution photos and load them up in the Compare tool. Interestingly, DxO took 26 seconds to produce the result. Luminar took well over a minute. Another point to DxO. Looking at the pictures sized for the screen, they are quite similar. DxO's smart lighting has brought more detail out in the sky, but it would not be fair to award it a point for that. Luminar has a sky enhancement tool that I have not applied yet. I will now zoom into 100% and compare the results more thoroughly. There is not much difference between the two images. Looking at the top of the tree, neither image shows any chromatic aberration and both images are sharp. If anything, I think I may have slightly overdone the sharpening in the Luminar version. And that is the problem with doing this sort of thing manually. I spent 10 seconds on the DxO version. I probably spent more than 10 minutes on the Luminar version. So far, I would score this result in DxO's favor. The results are both good, but DxO was much faster in use. As I said in the previous video, DxO is king when it comes to technical RAW conversion. But what about enhancing this image further? It is a bit dull and the sky needs work. Check back soon to see how these two tools compare with the artistic side of RAW development.